Hello everyone, welcome to today's Mioty webinar. I'm Greg, and today I'm joined by Rocco and Christoph, and I will start off with my presentation first. So if we can just go through the house rules. The webinar is going to be 30 minutes long with a 10-minute, 15-minute question and answer session afterwards. Just post your questions that you have in the chat window, and we will be recording this and posting it onto YouTube later on if there's anything you missed. And there's also more information about our modules and white papers and application notes on our website as well. So what is the Mioty Alliance? It was launched in 2020 at Embedded World, and Radiocrafts has been a member since February. And the Mioty Alliance has one simple goal, which is to enable the most accessible, robust, and efficient massive IoT connectivity solution on the market. More information can be found out about the Mioty Alliance at www.mioty-alliance.com. So why should you choose Mioty? Mioty is an incredibly reliable system, minimizing packet loss. On the right here, you can see that traditional LPWANs send all of their data in one chunk on one channel at the same time. And if you get any interference in today's busier, noisier frequency bands, the data is just lost. So Mioty uses some very clever algorithms, and it splits the packets into sub-packets and spreads them out across time and the channels, the frequency channels, which means that you can get your data through even in very noisy environments, and you can actually lose up to 50% of the sub packets and still get your data through, which is very impressive. It also has a low transmit time compared to some other solutions which try to do things in a more basic way by just repeating the message until the data gets through. And you can also own your own data from the endpoint all the way to the cloud by setting up your own gateway, or you can use service networks as well. And Radiocrafts today offers, sorry, can you just go on to the next slide? Radiocrafts today offers the RC1882 CEF-Mioty1, which has an AT-based command set to change all the settings. It's modem-based and currently has a development kit. And next year, in the first quarter of 2022, we will be launching the 1887 MP CEF, which will have Bluetooth low energy support and a higher output power for radios in the US. Okay, so we'll go on to the next presentation now, which is by GREATECH.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Nicolas, are you launching the Nicolas?
Yeah.
I cannot see the file yet, but I can start introducing myself.
Let's see, there we go.
So I'm Christoph Grundig from GREATECH, Germany. We are a design house and manufacturer of Internet of Things and industrial Internet of Things devices, and a long-term partner of Radiocrafts since 2003. Yeah, unfortunately, there seems to be a problem with the connectivity. So I just reconnect quickly. So I just reconnected. Please excuse the interference. So next slide, please. Just a brief introduction. We have one or actually two in-house brands. One is Sensoko, and this brand is mainly for the IoT and IIoT devices that we built. We built a wide range of products from temperature and humidity sensors over CO2 sensors, fine particulate, and so on. And we have gained a strong reputation in the European market for our excellent temperature sensors, wireless temperature sensors. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, I'm not able to see this slide right now. Perfect. Now it's on the screen here as well. Yeah, there seem to be connection dropouts. So this is just a quick product extraction from 2021. And next slide, please. So to the audience, I have to excuse again. There seems to be a connectivity problem. On my screen, there's no presentation whatsoever. After 5 to 10 seconds, it is unfortunately not on the screen anymore. So I would just use my presentation file and explain, give a brief introduction and explain what you have in front of you. So the Sensoko THU is one of our basic devices that we ship in high quantity. It's a Mioty ready device that has a very high accuracy and goes from -40 to +125 degrees Celsius. Applications are wireless temperature measurement and humidity on the 868 megahertz frequency. And we can, especially with such products, we can go to the market very quickly with Mioty. So that means if you have any projects where you need to measure such values like temperature and relative humidity, we can react and manufacture quickly and effectively. This product is built in Germany and has also been designed here. Next slide, please. The Sensoko NTC sensor, wireless sensor, goes from -50 to 150 plus degrees Celsius, and is also a battery operated sensor, which makes it very highly practicable for field applications, such as monitoring of heating systems, circulation of liquids, and so on. And like the THU, it can also be optionally coated for outdoor use and in wet environments so that the electronics are not damaged. We have a second variant of the Sensoko NTC, which is on the right side of the screen in the black casing. And as you can see, you can connect up to 2 cable sensors. but you can also start with just one, of course. And here again, the Mioty compatibility is provided thanks to the Radiocrafts module. Next slide, please. GREATECH is developing and testing with the Mioty Premium Gateway by DIA. So that means we have gateway provided, available at one of our locations, laboratory for testings. Some hard facts about this gateway. In urban areas, you have a 5-kilometer range approximately, and in rural areas up to 15 kilometers radius. And the systems are, the gateways are powered by industry standard CPUs for such applications. So there is enough calculation power under the hood. And you can connect up to 25,000 sensors in total, Mioty sensors in total. Next slide, please. So here, since we are on a webinar today, just a quick overview on how to activate turnkey ready Mioty sensor with the DIA Premium Gateway. So step one is you get the sensor ID, which is read out from the Mioty Radiocrafts module. Here's just an example of one of the Mioty devices that we have shipped. Inside this, or a part of this ID, is the so-called short address, highlighted in bold typography on the right at step 2. The next step is defining a 32-digit key defined by a customer or manufacturer. That depends on, and this depends on consultation. So this can also be changed depending on how the project is being organized. Step 4 is local or remote access via browser to the Mioty gateway. There is, of course, a password required. And last but not least, the project team has to define where it wants to forward the collected data to, for example, via MQTT tenants. Next slide, please. On this screen, you can see a closer view of the main dashboard of the DIA Mioty gateway. It is showing quite a number of settings, so you can see the status of the system if everything's running cool. You can also see in the bottom left 2 GT hosts. GT stands for GREATECH. So we have implemented these MQTT connections to forward the data to our front-end dashboards that can also be customized and used by our customers. Next slide, please. Just a quick overview. So the Sensoko sensors that are being provided by GREATECH at the moment that are also Mioty ready, beside THU and NTC, we have the Lumiere series, which is mainly for CO2 measurement with a very high quality CO2 sensor from Europe. We have Sensoko Elon, which is a power failure monitoring system, means electricity on. We have the Sensoko ADIO, which is stands for analog digital interface, for a wide range of cable sensors. The Nimbus for precipitation monitoring, laser light for fine particulate, also very high quality, Firebird for indoor smoke detection, and the PT100 series. Next slide, please. This is just one of the examples. Like what you can see on the screen is one of our customizable dashboards that we host in Europe and provide also to our project partners and customers. Next slide, please. This shows another dashboard that we have built internally. It's a very basic dashboard, but the advantage is that you can even host it on all the very small devices like Raspberry Pi and other tiny computers. So all the dashboards that we host are hosted in the European Union or at the customer side. And of course, we also offer a consultation in such cases when there is a request. Next slide, please. So just a quick sum up. GREATECH, as stated, offers Mioty ready hardware, manufactured in Germany, Radiocrafts Mioty modules, Mioty design services, and hardware consultation. We do the testing and quality control for the Mioty products with the Deal Premium Gateway. And here's some contact data. Please get in touch with us if you have any interest in jumping on the Mioty train. We are more than happy to support your project, and we can provide the full range from the very basic key components to the key ready products for IoT and IoT applications. Thank you very much, and I forward now to Mr. Rocco Wille.
Thank you very much. Okay, welcome from my side. Thank you for the invitation. I would like to start as well with a short personal introduction. My name is Rocco Wille. I'm the head of grid and infrastructure management at Stadtwerke Garbsen. Stadtwerke Garbsen is a municipal utility and is responsible for example, for power supply or gas transportation here in Lower Saxony. Let's start with the next slide, please, with a short overview why digitalization in Garbsen, from my point of view, is very important for us. We have two main drivers that lead to the construction of a radio network infrastructure. On the one hand, cities stand at the beginning of a great change. There are a lot of areas of applications that can added values by linking data, combining them, and so on. You all know these things that we can summarize under the heading of a smart city. To promote these topics, we founded an organization called the Diginauten here in Garbsen that is willing to push digitalization forward. On the other hand, you all know the background of the so-called energy transition. This transition causes demands on the energy supplier networks that we only can deal with intelligently linked components, for example, in transformer stations. And because of these two perspectives, we are dealing with the construction of a radio network. Next slide, please. Since the beginning of this year, we believe in a strong growth of sensor use. And this is why we decided for the Mioty technology. You have seen or got to know the advantages in the slides before. And very important for us is the planning part of the network, because we think that a good planning phase saves us a lot of work and reduces a lot of technical problems, for example, in dealing with load balancing and so on. Yeah, okay. But that's not our main focus today. Let's start with the projects. Please, next slide. Yeah. In the first project, I would like to present to you, we use CO2 sensors to measure the air quality in schools and play schools. This was the first topic we deal with because there was a strong interest working on this topic. Of course, the air quality gives information about the ventilation behavior in schools or kindergartens, but there is no direct link between CO2 level and infection level of COVID-19. But you all know that the risk of infection decreases with a good ventilation situation. Therefore, we look for some scientific specialists for aerosol and CO2 concentration, and we started a cooperation with the Max Planck Institute that supports us in positioning the sensors and in the evaluation of the measurements. We equipped several rooms with Lansen sensors that can indicate the CO2 concentration level by a green, yellow, and red light. And the sensors are able to flash if the values are too high. Furthermore, the sensors can give acoustic hints that should inform about the need of or for ventilation. Deal Metering and Siemens are also cooperation partners in this project for the themes of visualization, building up a dashboard and so on. The dashboard, we have different dashboards for teacher and for example, the Garbsen's measure that had a brighter view in the data than the teachers have. Next slide, please. Yeah, here you can see some pictures. After some days of or some weeks of measurement, we decided with the Max Planck Institute to equip the rooms with 8 sensors each room, because we need more information about the CO2 concentration. In the rooms, we put 4 sensors in 2 vertical lines. And we did that because exhaled air is warmer than the ambient temperature, and the CO2 concentration under the ceiling might be higher than on the ground. The picture in the middle shows the arrangement of the sensors in a line, and the right picture shows an actual development. We will equip one of 2 similar rooms with a ventilation, and we will monitor the sensors to get to know how efficient a ventilation is for CO2 concentration and for decreasing the infection risk, especially in the now beginning autumn time with uncomfortable air temperature outside. Next slide, please. Let me give you a short overview about our evaluation. We focus on 2 perspectives. On the one hand, we look to the radio network and the exchange of data within the network, and of course, on the CO2 perspective on the other hand. The left picture shows the deep indoor network range. Our first antenna is located on the town hall. You can see in the middle of the picture, and the school where the sensors are installed are on the right bottom corner. Yeah, the beeline between these sensors and the antenna is about 2 kilometers. And we evaluated the transmitted number of telegrams and calculated the telegrams that should have been delivered in the focus time period and divided the 2 values. And although the network range shows no good reception, we calculated 85% of delivery rate in average, and for a few sensors in the direct line to the antenna, we got rates about 98%. The right pictures show some CO2 plots that I will not focus on, but as a short summary, I can say that we found out that the CO2 values are a good correlation to the ventilation behavior, and the measured CO2 values are in a safe range. With this project, we would like to find out whether there is a connection between the growth of room, the CO2 concentration, and the number of students inside. We would like to help in running teaching. And that's the next project. We think that a lot of rubbish bins are emptied, whether they are completely full or not. We also think that using level sensors will help to empty the right bins. The right time of emptying maybe depends on weather or the location where the rubbish bins are set up, so that we use the can use the sensor dates to calculate an intelligent route where only full bins are emptied. This could lead to, for example, CO2 reduction or to more clean environment. The objective is that we combine sensor data with for example, weather data, weather forecast, so that we can assume if good weather conditions lead to full rubbish bins, maybe at a vacation destination, like a lake or something like that. For this case, we use level sensors from Sentinel. Next slide, please. The next project is a really actual one. We deal with moisture sensors for some months, and a few weeks before the newspaper reported about trees that were planted 1 year ago and now dried out because of less water. We think that the sensors can help to save trees because we know about the tree, let's say, health condition. And here we also will combine the moisture measurement with the weather conditions in the next days, so that the responsible people know if watering the trees is necessary or not. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is a really special project. The application maybe not can be used very often, but it's very important for our society. The upper picture shows a market without the living of bees. Bees are very important for the production of food because they help with growing plants that we need for food. As you all know, the beekeeper collects honey during the summertime, but the bees collect their food for the winter time, and therefore it is necessary that the beekeeper knows about the weight of the beehive, so that he can maybe add special bee food if necessary or not. Furthermore, the temperature of the beehive is also important for the beekeeper, and yeah, why not collecting the data via radio network, or why to collect the data via radio network? Because the beehive normally is not located directly in the cities or next to the beekeeper. For this project, we cooperate with Vika that is building a prototype of a beehive scale. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, the next project deals with temperature and conditions of critical infrastructure. We installed an outdoor temperature sensor on a bridge to collect information and to control if spreader vehicles have to be used or not. We talked to some responsible person, and he told us that they often don't know if the streets need spreading vehicles or not. Often the vehicles were used, although there is no need to do this. And with this, with the use of the temperature sensors, we can save maybe a lot of salt and other things, and this could protect our environment. And of course, the monitoring of this temperature can improve dangerous traffic situations. Next slide, please. Yeah, the last project, actual project, is dealing or referring to the smart grid perspective I mentioned before. I already mentioned the energy transition changes. For example, the main direction of the current flow, consumers now be producers as well, and this is why we have to know more about the technical situation. For example, in transformer stations, here Comtech and GREATECH delivered some sensors that we use for condition monitoring of the transformer stations. At the moment, we are still building up a dashboard like you see on the left-hand side. Furthermore, we use sensors to see if someone enters the station that is not allowed to. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, these are two projects that are in the planning status. The airport of Munich uses Mioty technology for metering, and we are in contact to the airport in Hanover to do the same project in Hanover, and yeah, maybe you see here BMW that uses Mioty sensors as well to collect information about filling machines that are located as at the assembly line. These machines can cause failures of the assembly line that are very expensive, as you can imagine, and they collect the data to help for predictive maintenance or improve the production efficiency. Okay, next slide. This is the last slide. Our experience with Mioty, we still trust in Mioty and believe that Mioty is a massive IoT technology, and we experience Mioty as a reliable and stable data transmission technology. We still have no logged data failures, but I also have to admit that the Mioty ecosystem is even smaller than the LoRa one, but we noticed that the manufacturers are willing to Myotize their products, and this is why we would like to complete the proof of concept phase for our use cases, and furthermore, we would like to build up a modular application platform and build up or develop business models to the cases. Okay, that was my last slide. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your presentations. We're going to do the question and answer now. So just post your questions in the chat, and we'll try and answer them as best as we can. The first one I can see we have a question from Marco Aurelio. Do you mean the uplink or the downlink budget? The uplink budget should be 14 dBm output power, and the downlink 27 dBm. Are there any more questions? Okay, so if there are no more questions for now, then I guess we'll wrap this up. Once again, thank you very much, Christoph and Rocco, for your presentations. And if you have any more questions, you can always email us at Radiocrafts or Christoph and Rocco as well. What is the status or gateway productions? From Peter. Well, Radiocrafts doesn't offer any gateways. Maybe Christoph is better off answering this one. Christoph? Okay, we will answer that question later.
Greg, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay,
great.
perfect. Yeah, my apologies. I reconnected now to this online seminar software, so now it works again. The question regarding the gateways, there's just a DL Premium Mioty gateway available at the moment, which is quite pricey, unfortunately, but there will be more gateway on the market very soon. To answer this question more precisely, we would like to continue this discussion or conversation via email and send out precise dates to all participants as soon as we know.
We have another question from Thomas for you, Christoph. Who is developing the dashboards?
Yes, can you please read the question? Since I had to reconnect again, I cannot see it on the screen, unfortunately.
Yeah, no problem. Who is developing the dashboards, the customer or GREATECH?
We have dashboards that we provide to our customers that are in-house built by GREATECH. And we also provide a dashboard from one of our Swiss-Italian partners that is hosted in the European Union, but is also fully customizable. So just let us know your needs, your request, and we will take it from there.
And Ian asked me, how does Mioty compare with Riot? I would say that Riot probably isn't as reliable as Mioty, but Riot excels in other areas, such as having much lower power requirements and being a more complete system, allowing over-the-air updates at the moment. It would be better if you were wanting to compare the two. It would be better if you got in touch with us via email. Are there any more questions? All right, I think we'll wrap up then. Thank you very much for coming, everyone. Once again, my name's been Greg from Radiocrafts. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.